we're getting to the end of the show, and we hope that you've just appreciated just the creative ways we can display how this decision has impacted our lives. But look, you might still be sitting here and saying, Lou, okay, I get it. You guys say it. You do this because it's what God wants you to do. But dude, I don't even know if I'm convinced this is what he would have me do. Like, I get it. You say you have this relationship with him, but man, I feel like there have been so many times in my life that God just wasn't there. And if he wasn't there on those moments, why would he care about the decision I made? Why does he care about something so little as my sex life? Like, I feel like God's got better things to do. And I just don't know if I'm so convinced I'm going to do something like this. And so look, if that is you, please know that that's okay. Alright? And I'm excited you're here. But if there's one thing I want you to walk away with tonight, and this is what I hope for everyone, if there's one thing I want everyone in this room to walk away with tonight, it's this. The God who created everything, and I mean everything, who created you specifically, loves you so incredibly much that there is not a single thing you have done, can do, or will do that will change his affection towards you. And I know you might be sitting here thinking, no, you don't know my life, you don't know what I've been through, you don't know the things I've done, you don't know what has been done to me. But what I'm saying is that God sees that, knows it, and still says, I love you. And there's nothing you can do to change that. It's called unconditional. And it's the only example we will ever experience on this earth, because even our families will fail us at one point. But this love never will. But see, the problem is we're sinful, right? And we know this. I mean, I know in 2017 that's like a bigoted or intolerant phrase, but like, guys, we know this. You ever mess up? Ever do something you just know you shouldn't have done? Mistreated somebody? And nobody had to tell you you were wrong? You just knew it in your heart? Yeah, that's it. And we all got it. And the problem with that is every sin that is committed has to be paid for. That's how it works. And the Bible says that the wages of sin is death. And so that puts all of us in a predicament. Right? And you might be sitting here, well, no, you just said that God loved me and there was nothing I can do to change that. If he loved me so much, why didn't he just forgive me? Man, you said it's unconditional. You said he's not going to treat me. Why didn't you just forgive me, man? I didn't want to do the things I did. Well, look, I told you, every sin that's committed has to be paid for. That's how it works. Otherwise, he would not be a just judge. He would not be a holy God, but he is those things. So in order for God to just forgive us, someone would have to absorb our cost. Someone would have to absorb my cost. You know, when I was out here a little bit earlier, I told you the story of Abraham and Isaac, right? And there's that point on the mountain where Isaac's pleading with his dad. He's saying, Dad, I don't understand how this is going to work. We don't have a sacrifice. And Abraham says these famous words. He says, God himself is going to provide the lamb. See, what's crazy about those words is that Abraham had no idea that thousands of years later, in that very same mountain range, another father and son would walk up a mountain. This son too would be carrying wood on his back, only this time in the form of a cross. This son too would be going to the top as a sacrifice, but not for one, all. Only this time, when this son cries out to his father and says, why have you forsaken me? This father turns his back and pays the ultimate price with his silence. See, Christ, the Son of God, willingly went to a cross, willingly followed the Father in obedience unto death, because he knew in the end he'd pay for your sin. He paid for my sin, that we be adopted into his family. all because of what he did for us. See, Isaac was saved by that substitute, right? We talked about that earlier, that ram caught in thorns. But Christ, who was crowned in thorns, saved every single one of us by being our substitute. And at the end of that story, God is looking down at Abraham. He says, Abraham, I know you love me. Abraham, I know you love me because you didn't withhold your son, your only son, whom you love, from me. But in light of hearing the story of Christ and what God was willing to do to redeem us, to purchase us, how much more can we sit here tonight and say, God, I know you love me because you didn't withhold your son, your only son, whom you love, from me. See, God never asked Abraham to do something he wouldn't willingly do himself. God paid the price for all of us to come home, and that was the death of his son. The sacrifice of his son. But see, unlike Abraham and Isaac, that's not where the story ends. Because look, if that's where the story ends, cool story, but it doesn't do anything for me. No, see, Christ was killed. And he died a death he didn't deserve, and he was buried. But 3 days later, God rose him from the dead. I want you to think about it. God rose him from the dead. And he ascended into heaven and now intercedes on our behalf. He sits on the right hand of God. And if you're wondering, man, what does that even mean? That means this: if you repent and turn from your sin and follow Christ, now when God looks down at you, he doesn't see the filthy mess that you are. He doesn't see the sinful, flawed human being you are. He sees the perfection of Christ inside of you. You literally get Christ's righteousness. It's like getting the Medal of Honor, yet never stepping foot on the battlefield. If you're sitting here thinking, man, that sounds so scandalous, dude. That sounds so crazy. I didn't do anything to deserve something like that. You're right. Not a single one of us did. And that's what's so sweet about it, because it's a gift. Which means you cannot earn this. But that doesn't mean it's cheap. It's a very costly gift. Look at what Christ went through. Look at what God had to do to redeem you. When Christ was on this earth, he was very clear. He said, look, if you committed one sin, you're guilty of them all. In fact, those things you wanted to do but you never did, those words you wanted to say but you never said, I'm going to judge you as if you did those things, as if you said those things. And when I first heard that, that really kind of shattered me, because I thought that was so unfair. God, I'm trying not to do this. I don't want to. But when you actually look at it, it's one of the most beautiful things the gospel says, because it puts us all on the same playing field. Doesn't matter what time frame you were born in. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you were born in poverty, if you were born in riches, if you were born in a religious home or an atheist home, we're all stamped very simply guilty, sinful, need a Savior, and not a single human being other than Christ himself has gotten out of that. We need that. And when Christ was on this earth, before he left, he said, look, I'm the truth. I'm the light. There's no one going to God. No one's going to my Father but through me, because I paid the way for it. Every religion, every philosophy, every even false Christianity is going to tell you, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And at the end, hopefully God's going to accept you. But what I'm telling you is that it won't work. I paid for it. The gospel says, God accepts you. Now do this. Why are you trying to pay for something that I already paid for? Why are you trying to work for something that I've already toiled for? He said, come, repent, follow me. You want this relationship with me? Come, repent, follow me. And man, when we do that, and I mean for real, when we actually repent, one of the coolest things is God gives us the Holy Spirit. And look, I understand we're in a church group, but even in church groups, like the Holy Spirit's kind of like the weird uncle of the Trinity, nobody likes to talk about it. No, he's real. Very real, man. I'm not talking about religiousness. I'm not talking about hocus pocus. I'm talking about real life, man. I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for the Holy Spirit in my life, and I mean those words. Every single person that's been on this stage would say the exact same thing. Guys, it is impossible to live this life in a way that glorifies the God who created everything without the Holy Spirit in your life. That's even if you are moral, even if you are religious. Guys, you need him. We all need him. There's only one way to him. And that's through Christ himself. And so that's how I want to end tonight. I want to end tonight with everybody just given the opportunity to do what we just talked about, which is what? Just repent. Maybe for the first time in your life, just get authentic with God. Now look, I know I'm talking to a church group. And I know not all of you. I'm going to say the majority here probably go to church. I'm not talking about saying a prayer and then saying, oh, I guess I'm good. Because I know what that's like. I know what it's like to say a prayer when I'm 8, saying, okay, I'm good now. That's all I had to do. And now. Yet everything's still a mess. You don't feel like there's a relationship there. You just feel like you're doing moral obligation. It's just behavior modification. It's like, God, I'm doing this. I don't know why. I'm just going to keep this. There's no love inside. There is no relationship. It's just religion. And Christ came to abolish religion. Guys, based off of just statistics alone, I know that some of you, just as teenagers, are really grappling with suicide right now. Like crazy hard. You got scars up and down your arms to prove it. And you're sitting here tonight saying, Lou, if you just knew what I was going through, if God only knew what I was going through, he would agree with me that it would be so much easier if I could just end it. I could just get out of the hell that I'm in. And some of you girls have given yourself over to boy after boy after boy, just hoping that in the end, you're going to get the acceptance that you always wanted, right? Because that's what everybody tells you is going to happen. Did you feel so empty, so confused? And guys, girl after girl after girl, because that's what men do, right? Because I want to be a real man. Yet we leave and we feel so broken. Confused because it's not what people said it was going to be. Guys, can sex, drugs, alcohol, can that mask our pain? Absolutely. And look, anybody that tries to tell you it won't is lying to you. It will. But only for a short period of time. It'll mask it. It won't fix it. It won't fix that inner void, that inner question where you're saying, is this really what it's about? Why do I feel like I have zero purpose? Why do I feel like I'm just going through the motion? Guys, I don't know what you're going through tonight. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But I do know this. I know that there's a God that does know what you're going through. And he cares. Guys, he knows you. He knows every decision you've ever made. He knows every decision you will ever make. He knows the amount of hairs on your head right now as I speak. He knows you. The question tonight is, do you know him? Because there's only one way to know the Father, and that's through Christ. And that's through realizing that it's not something that you can earn. It's not something that you have to work for. But it's something that was bought by the sovereign grace of the God who created everything. So look, in a moment, I just want to lead us all just in a prayer. And please do not get caught up in the words of this prayer. This prayer is not magical. We're not witches. This isn't incantation. All right. I just want you to get real with God. Maybe for the first time in your life. Like I said, I'm going to lead you in prayer. You don't have to say this prayer out loud. You don't even have to say this prayer exactly the way I'm saying. I just want you to talk to him. I want you to authentically just repent and say, God, I'm broken. I'm really messed up. And I can't do this without you. And I'm not here trying to earn my salvation. I'm here to recognize that it was purchased for me. And that tonight I submit to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, man, I know what it's like to grow up in a religious home and just to say a prayer and think that's it. But it just, because I never authentically repented. I never saw my sin for what it was. I just did a religious duty. So if you're resonating with that, man, I know that struggle. It's okay. Tonight, go to him. And even if you're just sitting here saying, look, I didn't grow up in church, man. I don't even know half the things we're talking about tonight, but I'm sitting here thinking, man, if this is true, if you're saying there's a God that created everything, and he loves me regardless of what I've done, and that he's actually purchased away from me outside of the sin that I'm in, all because he loved me, and it's just of his sovereign grace, man, sign me up. Because I can't do this alone. Tonight's the night. So look, if I can just get everybody to bow your heads and close your eyes with me. Again, I'm just going to lead you guys in a prayer. This is not something you have to say out loud. And it's not something you have to say exactly that I'm saying. I just want you to say just something like this. Hey, Father, I come before you sinful. I come before you broken. And Father, I repent of my sin. Of all the areas of my life where I just have not given you lordship. God, I need you. And I know I don't deserve the forgiveness that you're willing to offer. But tonight I ask you just to forgive me. Jesus, I declare you are my Lord tonight. I believe that you died on that cross for my sin and that God raised you from the dead so that I too would be saved. Jesus, I submit to your lordship right now. And Holy Spirit, I invite you in. Holy Spirit, give me the strength to do this, to live this life the way I should. I can't live this life without you. I need your courage. I need your strength. I need your perseverance. I want to live this life the way God intended me. Father, thank you for your love. Thank you for your grace. And thank you for seeing me worth it. I say all this in your Son's name. Amen. Amen. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. For real, guys, if that you were just somebody that just did that, please note that, again, it wasn't the magical words you said or anything like that. It was a position of the heart. And this isn't some emotional thing. Some emotional high. No, guys, this is real life. And can I just be the first one to congratulate you and say that's the best decision that we can make as humans, is to give our lives back to the Lord that gave it to us. The God that gave it to us. Because, man, he knows what this life is for. He created us for a specific purpose. And there is no greater calling, there's no greater fulfillment found than in knowing that you're living in the will of God for your life. I mean that. So look, if you did just say that prayer, can you just do me a favor just real quick? Can you just text the word pray to 797979? Look, I'll explain to you why I'm asking you to do this. I know it might seem a little odd. Look, I know that the decision to walk this life is difficult. Like I said, it's not just a quick prayer. It's like, oh, I'm done. No. Man, it is difficult because now God sanctifies us and he brings us closer. But man, we need Christian community. Guys, this literally just gets you in contact with us. And it's not a chance for us to blow up your phones. It literally is an opportunity. Just, if you ever need any help, man, you ever need a prayer request, man, we just want to be there for you because we know it's hard and we know that Christian community is huge. So again, if you said that prayer, just please do me a favor, just text pray to 797979. You can do that right now as I'm talking. All right. Last thing before we head on out of here. Just want to talk about this ring real quick. Guys, this ring is not a sign of perfection. It's a sign of perseverance. It has so So much less to do with what you can do for God and so much more to do with what He has done for you. Never forget that. I told you, this isn't behavior modification, man. This is a sign to me, a reminder of what God says I am. A reminder of where my identity is found. And it's not found in what this culture says it is. It's found in what He says, in who He says I am. That's what this means. I mean, it's so much more than just waiting until marriage to have sex. Yes, that is what this symbol means. But man, this is a beautiful reminder for me daily to know that I don't conform to a culture. Guys, I stand up here, hopefully as just an inspiration of saying, guys, if I can do this, so can you. Man, I thank God for the ability to do it because I couldn't have done it without Him. Guys, this is a real decision. And look, I want everybody tonight to get a ring that really wants one. And maybe you're sitting here saying, yeah, sweet, I came here and that's what I wanted. Or maybe you're sitting there saying, dude, I didn't even know I could get a ring tonight. I didn't bring any money to get a ring. So, dude, just ask your friend tonight. Just borrow the money just for tonight. It's not worth walking out of here without this commitment. I really do mean that. And I'm not just trying to say for this ring, man, it's a beautiful reminder. But maybe you are sitting here saying, no, Lou, you really don't understand. I can't afford a ring. I don't have that money. If that is the truth, please do not feel ashamed. Please do not feel embarrassed. Come up to me. Come up to any of the silver ring people. We will have badges on. We will have staff shirts on. I don't want anybody leaving here without a ring that wants one. We can't afford one. That is not what we're about. I will do everything within my power to make sure you leave with one, okay? Well, look, we want everybody to get this ring. And put it on and stand by it. Stand boldly by it. Know that you're serving God. You're not serving an audience of a multitude of men. You're serving the God who created everything. And stand by it, like I said, until your wedding date. And at that point, we want you to do is we want to take off that ring. We want you to hand it to your future spouse and say, you know, I loved you enough. I trusted God enough in my life, my sex life, everything in me that I waited for you. Now, let's get it on. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. No, I get everybody to stand up and freeze real quick. Stand up and freeze. Dude, the parents in the back are like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe you'd say that. Parents, at that point, it is biblical for them to do that, so it's okay. All right? No, all right. So last thing, guys, before we head on out of here. What I'd love to do is just real quick, if you said that prayer, just a moment ago. And in a second, I just want to invite you to the front of the stage. My friend Adriana, Alex, Ashley's coming upstairs, sorry. And she's up here. We're all just going to, we just want to give you a card real quick. I know that what I'm asking for is a little difficult because you're like, I don't know, I have these friends around. Guys, this isn't like solidify your faith. I want to encourage you in this. But if you like said that prayer, legitimately meant it, I mean, look at me. Make eye contact with me. Guys, I know that's an awesome proclamation of your faith and everything. But again, I just want to invite you over. We're just going to give you a card just to encourage you, all right? So if you said that prayer, legitimately, just come to the front of the stage real quick. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Absolutely. Well, guys, as of right now, the show is over. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. You guys can feel free to head over to the Student Center where you can purchase your rings in the merch booth. We're also going to be just hanging out there if you want to hang out and talk to us. But if you are coming up here, just because you said that prayer, guys, just come up here real quick. We're just going to give you a card real quick. We're just going to fill it out neatly, completely in English. We're going to give it back to the person that gave it to you. But again, for those of you that did not say the prayer, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Please feel free to make your way out into we're not going to be hanging out for this long. We're actually going to go over to the Student Center, the worship center over there. So if you have any questions, you want to get merch or the rings, please just head on out over there. We'd love to talk to you guys. But for those of you that are coming up here, please, you're going to get a card. Once you get that card, do me a favor, fill out neatly, completely in English. Once you have that card filled out entirely, you're going to give it back to the person that gave it to you, and then they're going to give you a book. Once you get that book, do not leave them until you get a family picture, okay?